Oh.
Like the second we go live, he's like, "I'm out. I'm done. Show over. This is the shortest show in YouTube history." So we got our good buddy Jacques from Discussions app on this morning. He's in his kitchen. He's talking about getting a new office, which is good. But I found it like strangely comforting. I've had a few conversations with Jacques. I think he was like, if not the first, one of the first people that I talked to on air in the cryptocurrency space, for which I am, going to be grateful for a really, really long time. I've learned a lot from Jacques. We're going to hear about some Discussions on app stuff, and maybe even stuff that nobody's ever heard before, because they're going to be announcing it next week. But we're just the keeper of secrets on this show. So just whatever you hear on the show, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Right, Jimmy? Good. All right. Cool. Good talk. So Jacques, how you doing?
Good. Just, as good as you can be in the pandemic.
Right.
I get locked in my little kitchen office, which I'm getting really tired of. Hoping to get like we're looking for a new apartment. The house prices are going down. Seen like a really nice, a few really nice apartment just next to here. So yeah, looks like this work from home thing is not going to go away anytime soon, and all the nice cafes in Lisbon are closed. So yeah.
All right. Well, this tradition we do every morning now. Every guest we have on, we have them, tell us something that they're grateful for, and we throw it up on these permanent monuments inside the Uplift. So, what are you grateful for this morning, John?
I am grateful for my team at Discussions. It sounds kind of corny, but like really Discussion is the project and the team. Before there was Discussions on app, there was just Novosphere, and they kind of transitioned into EOS, and they didn't really have a clear direction. So I came on board and kind of paved the way for Discussions. Discussion's been our focus for the last 2 years. And yeah, it's given me a lot of great experiences and met a lot of great people. So really
awesome.
Grateful for that.
Awesome. Yeah, that's not corny at all. That's a big deal. Jimmy, how about you?
I'm grateful for mimicry.
What?
Mimicry. Like the biological process.
MIMIC. Mimic RY. Yeah, mimicry. I don't think it's a word. I think I might have just made that up. But for two reasons. Number one, my daughter's at that age now where she mimics people and things, and she's pretty hilarious. Like she has got it figured out, like certain music that we listen to, like when she should howl at the moon like a wolf. So that's pretty funny. And also, if you notice what's happening on Corey's screen, www.theupliftworld, we have the new site up, and we've got a bunch of people in there building stuff, and there's some pretty awesome things being built in the Uplift world that mimic logos or mimic different things in the real world or with projects, and it's just amazing what's coming out on an artistic level in the Uplift world, in my opinion.
Fair enough. I'll screenshot of that. Have you seen any of this yet, Jacques?
No, unfortunately, I can't run Minecraft on my MacBook Pro, and I don't have a Minecraft account.
We so need to uncover Jack's land, do we not?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know, because you've got it saved on the map. We should even maybe put the word out on in Discussions. If there's any people that have Minecraft Java, we should get you some builders, because there's some people doing some really, really incredible things. That land is yours. It's gonna sit there waiting to have something cool on it. And a lot of people are even the Crypto Monkeys people, just they threw their logo up. They actually have a bunch of really cool stuff there, but you can see their logo from the 2D map and stuff, which looks cool. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that this morning, although it's consuming my life, entertaining.
Well, yeah, I know. I'm definitely a big Minecraft fan. Actually, I built my first PC just so I could run Minecraft. It was a $2,000 PC.
Wow.
And the only thing I ran out was just Minecraft, because Minecraft, when it was first released, it just eats up so much RAM, it was impossible to run on anything else. Like you gotta have like a custom built PC just to run the damn thing. So that I'm mining Bitcoin. So I did a little bit of that as well.
There you go.
Yeah. So as always, this is our kind of our big day of the week. This is how we first got started. And Jack, you were one of our first guests. But just on the back of what Corey was saying, we do also a weekly post that's on Medium that's linked to all the news in the EOSIO space that we can find. And it's really freaking long this week. They just keep getting longer and longer. And anyway, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there are a bunch, maybe about 10 different screenshots that were taken of various teams and what they're building in the Uplift world. And there's some pretty sweet images. So yeah, definitely check that out. There's also like a bunch of posts. Corey and Recurrio do this thing on Friday where they go and tour various people's lands. And I'm really like kind of sad that that's your story, Jack, because like if you built a computer just so that you could play Minecraft and now you're not able to use it on your computer, you must know how to build like a madman. So yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I was like alpha version of Minecraft. I was playing already.
Yeah, let's get you a computer and we'll book a play date and we can go on your land and like to start building some stuff. So I'll send you. What's that?
Might have to build another PC right here in Portugal.
That's probably a good idea. Yeah, like, have you seen any of the pictures of what the Boyd team is building?
No, I haven't.
I'll send it to you after. Like, it's a full spaceport. Like, it looks like a fucking sci-fi movie set. It's ridiculous. And they've got a QR code that you can see. We have like a 2D map, so anyone in the game or out of the game can just watch what everyone's doing. And so that QR code is visible from space. We call it the satellite view. And it just goes right to Boyd.com. And some people are talking about doing like NFT claim links and shit like that. Like it's become like a platform for a bunch of other stuff. So I can't wait to get you on there because you're just gonna start having ideas like crazy. But I mean, for people that don't know you, Jacques, could you maybe give our because I think there's potentially some people here that don't know who you are. And a little introduction on yourself and what you're working on over at Discussions.
Yeah, sure. I mean, my name is Jacques. I've been, Discussions, my project. We've been working on it ever since the mainnet launch, the EOS mainnet launch, and we saw the vision of a EOSIO future, many interconnected EOSIO blockchains, and we thought it would be great to have a social protocol built connecting these blockchains. Obviously, you have financial transactions between these chains, but we also thought it was important to have a place where the community could gather and talk about ideas on chain. Just again to keep with the spirit of decentralization. So that's what the discussion is. And right now, so far, we have branched out onto just two EOSIO chains, so EOS and Telos. We're looking to integrate, Wax and in the future other EOSIO blockchains, as well as blockchains beyond the EOSIO world, just because that's kind of the direction that the industry is heading. So we're really excited about that. Obviously, with Telos now integrating the EVM, we're looking to take advantage of that and figure out a pathway to get on EVM as well.
Yeah, I was going to say the EVM is an ethereal virtual machine. We actually haven't talked about that on this show yet. I don't know, Jimmy, if that's in the news, but could you maybe describe, what the plan is just really quickly for tell us, like, what is that just basically just going to run? I think it runs Solidity, which is the programming language that Ethereum, stuff is built on, or what's going on there?
Yeah. That's basically it. I mean, it's just a way to, because, EOSIO is so powerful, it could fit the Ethereum EVM. It's redundant. I don't know why I say Ethereum EVM, but it could fit the EVM EVM virtual machine in the EOS and the Telos blockchain. So again, I mean,
like run all of Ethereum on Telos.
I mean, you probably could. I mean,
right.
Like, honestly, you probably could.
The transaction cost would be 7 cents, not $80.
Yeah, so that was one of the posts that we covered, but also too, like, right, Saeed Jeffrey, he created the one for the block one. I think it was the hackathon, right? To run it on EOS, and it hasn't really been utilized or implemented yet. And I actually I haven't looked into this, but like, who created the one? Was it the Telos team that created the Telos EVM? And why did it go live you know, before it went live on the mainnet? I guess that's my question. I don't know the answer to this, right? Like,
Jimmy, you're gonna make me say things that that's gonna piss off.
I didn't mean to
that's what I'm here to do.
in that direction.
Right? No, I mean no. So again, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, but yeah, it was the owner of Blocks, which is now owned by MetalPay or Proton. Yeah. He was the one who he figured it out. Who really built the product, and the Telos team came in and refined it. Now obviously launched on the Telos network.
Right.
And as for why it's live on Telos and not on EOS, it's a very simple answer. It's like there isn't the political will to do so.
Yeah, yeah, okay, fair enough. We can leave it at that simple answer. Yeah, like everything, and that's the thing. We've been looking to have Douglas on here for a while now, but like things in Telos are really kicking up. And so, like, not only do they have the EVM, but they've also implemented some other like cross their roadmap was nuts. They've implemented some other cross-chain Ethereum thing as well. And I know that you guys recently implemented some Telos into your discussions app. So what it's difficult because you guys are doing so much, actually. Like, you guys actually offer like account creation within your dApp as well.
Yeah.
And then you offer, I'm assuming, Telos account creation as well as EOS account creation within your dApp. And so then, do you want to kind of explain like how that works, and like if you have a like, is it only EOS account creation? Like Telos account creation is within your dApp as well?
Yeah. So again, like I mean, to be honest, Telos is really doing all the things that we expected EOS to do. Like, again, discussions was designed to run as kind of like a soft onboarding process for users, right? Like the EOS account stuff is only actually gotten more complex over the years. It has not been simplified, and you to place that amount of burden on the user is ridiculous. I mean, you could. It's true that in EOS you could pay for user transactions, and in that way the system is a lot better than Ethereum. But as it stands today, the EOS user experience is actually worse than Ethereum. At least with Ethereum, you're kind of like, okay, well, I have to pay a fee. That's to be expected. With EOS, you really don't know. Like, do I have CPU? And if I have CPU and I have some EOS in my account, I still can't pay for my transaction because I can't have the CPU to get more CPU to able. It's a ridiculous process. So obviously discuss. Yeah. So discussion abstracts all that away from the end user, and we offer EOS account creation, Telos account creation, and we're going to be launching our reputation system that allows users to very easily get a free EOS account just by connecting their Twitter account, doing a few actions here and there. But that reputation system, what we plan to do in the future is also to kind of offer a measure of activeness to other application developers. So it's actually like a measure for them. And the reputation is tokenized so that those tokens will be able to cover transaction costs. And again, it doesn't have to be paid or whatever, it's just generated by the system. So again, the goal of discussion is just to make the EOSIO ecosystem that much easier to use. And going back to the EVM, really started with our MetaMask login. So Ethereum users coming onto the EOSIO ecosystem for the first time, coming onto Telos for the first time, they could use MetaMask sign and do discussions. And another thing about EVM is like it's cool that we could run smart contracts inside of Telos, and obviously we hope EVM developers take advantage of that. But the other side to this is that we could take advantage of the huge code base that has been developed on Ethereum. And truth be told, like a lot of the code on Ethereum hasn't been put into use just because of how high the gas fees are. A lot of games, a lot of even gambling dApps, which used to be like a big thing, now they have been priced out by the DeFi projects essentially. So yeah, lots of going on, lots of things in the works.
From a broader market perspective, I think it's quite interesting. Like Corey and I have noticed the flutters have kind of dropped off out of the EOS space recently, but now they've kind of gone to zero.
So fast. And remember, I gotta brag for a second. I told everyone, like, at peak FUD, the second the price breaks out from this downward triangle, the FUD's gonna basically disappear, and then everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, maybe it's not so bad." Blah 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 blah. And that's the thing. Like the user experience for EOS is improving all the time. Like we talked to Wombat with Adrian, but obviously, like all of your criticisms are entirely accurate, and they're doing the work to abstract that stuff away. But people like Wax and Telos. Just they did it. It's kind of been like that for a while, so they have a head start on that. So it's fun to see that stuff. And we've been talking about this since we met, right? Like Jacques started explaining to me before I even really understood what it meant, that all the chains in the EOSIO ecosystem are really kind of designed to talk to each other fairly easily, and then eventually all the chains are going to be talking to each other, and then even that, like the blockchain aspect of it. I think ends up getting abstracted away, so people just get the benefit and barely and don't need to understand the technology that's driving it.
So mostly, I think you were right. But what I wanted to say was, I just wanted to say thank you to Charles Hodgkinson, because I do honestly believe that part of the reason that the fudders have left EOS is because he basically declared war on Ethereum. I think that's he's like, so there has been like a couple, and Polkadot's been doing really well as well. We're hoping to have someone actually. I'm in contact with someone that will help us maybe understand Polkadot, hopefully in the near future as well, because we want to kind of dive in there too. But like you said, the EOS itself was kind of meant so that all these chains could talk to each other, right? And so I don't see a problem with different chains for different tailored purposes. Like I do get the fact that, like, some of these high profile investors, they're not getting their money back and stuff like this. But it's funny because I was sitting there today and I was listening to all of these new recent airdrops that like are dropping onto Ethereum with all of these like DeFi protocols and things like that, right? And then you're starting to see like kind of this divergence away from what used to be Ethereum into what like EOS was doing, right? And I can kind of see this at some point really crashing and burning. And for Ethereum, I don't think even if Corey's wrong, he's not wrong very often, but even if he's wrong and they do put Ethereum 2.0 out in 2 years, I don't see them lasting 2 years. I don't see them lasting 2 years in this state when you have all of these like amazing competing blockchains. And I think it's only a matter of time before there's that kind of division between people hearing, EOS and like shitting all over it. And not even realizing that there's like, upwards of 10 really solid chains right now that are doing amazing things, right? Like even Boscore, which nobody in the EOS system ever even knows, they're doing awesome things with like IBC and stuff like that, right? So, Talos, Wax. So I'm just kind of curious as to like, how do you kind of see this playing out? Like, and do you think that like being on EOS or on Telos, because nobody knows about Telos, let's be fair, right? Like only EOS people do, right? I think that's about to change.
I think it is in the process of changing. Yeah, I mean it's starting to get some attention.
They've been trying to get away from that as well.
So like, do you think that's at a disadvantage right now for a discussions app or these other kind of social or gaming platforms?
To be on the EOS and Telos blockchain?
Yeah. No. I mean, like, to be actively associating yourself with the EOS, and like, I think a really good example is Upland. Like Upland, like they never really publicize that they're on EOS, right? Like they have a content competition where you can win like $1,000 worth of ETH on Publish OX right now. I mean, that's as far away from advertising that you're on EOS as you can get, really. And I mean, awesome for them. Like they're doing great, right? But like, we came from a time where we used to, hail EOSIO technology and say, we're here because it's the fastest, it's the best, but there's such bad market sentiment from beyond, that we haven't really shaken off, from even when the days in EOS were good, right? So like,
hey, Jimmy, Jacques, what do you think?
Yeah, that's what I was getting.
It's okay. I mean, Jimmy,
Jimmy wind him up. He'll go, and he's not an uninteresting person. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
I don't think that's the negative association. Like, would we have done things differently? Definitely, yes. Because I mean, again, like this is a pretty much a tire sentiment at this point, but Block One hasn't done much to kind of spur up the community. Like really, like after the hackathon, like things just kind of dropped off. Like we were really excited. I mean, I joined discussions right off the heels of the hackathon, and it was looking like they were going to create a really vibrant, positive community around these developers, around these projects, and putting funds into them. And that we were anticipating, like the whole business model of discussions depended on the success of EOS projects. So we had no problem associating ourselves with EOS because we wanted to see these EOS projects succeed. And when they are successful, we are successful as well, as a community platform. But obviously that hasn't panned out at all. Right now, like the EOS community is so fragmented. Each project is doing its own thing. There's hardly any cooperation between any of them. Whereas you look at Ethereum, they have done a fantastic job of integrating very different contracts with each other. Like they have done a magnificent job with their like DeFi projects. It's insane. Like the amount of interconnected like smart contracts on there is incredible. And if you look at EOS, like the only smart contract to talk to another smart contract is maybe like with new decks. Like maybe there's one or two liquidity swap pools, and that's about it.
Well, and have you looked into DeFi Box or Vigor Protocol yet?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, and they're doing great. Like they're doing fantastic, right? But not at the same level as Ethereum.
Well, they don't have billions of dollars like slapping all over the place either, right?
And why is that? Like,
well, like 10 years
for this,
right? Like how long has Ethereum been around? Like 7 years. So a bit of its time. And yeah, and we've been going back and forth, and it's all speculation, right? Nobody knows what the fuck Block One is doing except for guesses. And like the and I don't even want to get into it now because we do this like every other show on this thing, whether it's the SEC or whatever. Like I don't know, right? I think there's very justifiable criticisms that can be leveled. We'll see it. Like I think it's totally plausible, but none of us know, so it doesn't really matter, right? But the best thing about it is when everything cooled on EOS, it spawned 4 competitors, right, or 4 sister chains that are now doing all the things that were promised. So that to me is the most interesting thing, because like Block One might do interesting things in the future, but we don't know if they are or not, and it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. Telos is really fucking interesting.
I would agree.
Discussions is really interesting right now. So is Wax. Like we just move on.
No, I would agree with Corey if that was kind of their public statement from day one. But no, like they said they're gonna put $1 billion into the EOS ecosystem to fund various projects. And like the community operated on that assumption for the longest time. Yeah. And every single time they announced like a funding round that wasn't directly impacting EOS, the community got more disappointed.
No, that's fair.
I would still agree with you. If that was the sentiment, and that was the sentiment that is allowed to be circulated in the community. Because right now you have people, very prominent people who has pinned the success of EOS on Block One. Yeah. It's not us. Like we understand that Block One is just gonna deliver the technology, and we're fine with that. Telos depends on Block One to deliver the code base, and like Telos is fine with that. But within EOS, there has been a group of, again, very prominent people who say the success of EOS is directly tied to what Block One is doing. And that is so incredibly detrimental to the future of Block One, to the future of EOS.
Yep.
Again, like EOS had a chance to create a worker proposal system, and like the public members just rejected entirely. What happened? That was a golden opportunity for EOS to say, hey, you know what? Block One would deliver a code base. It would be great technology, but the ecosystem needs funding, and the ecosystem. And we could provide this funding through the system itself, through a worker proposal system. EOS did not adopt that. Telos adopted that. What you see now is Telos have about $500,000 worth of funds, and that's how discussion got on Telos. Telos has funded probably more, like invested more in this ecosystem than EOS have, which is insane. Wax is crazy.
Similar thing, right? Wax also has a worker proposal.
Yeah, Wax has a similar thing as well.
And I mean, as much as I do agree with kind of both sides of that. But actually, even Corey and I, we've been pretty nice since we got above $5. even we've been nice, actually. I just realized that when you mentioned that, because it's not every other day. We've been pretty nice. But I'm gonna regret saying this live on camera, but I kind of feel like you and I should just do an hour, because I'm on the I'm on the opposite side of this.
I would love to watch that, actually, because I literally have a fence post jammed up my ass. So I'm very ambivalent about this, because there's so many good things that are happening, on either side of this argument, that I'm just like, yeah, whatever, let's build in Minecraft. But I think you should totally do that. I think that, because that it's an important part of the discussion. And Jacques, you're so knowledgeable about the history of it and how the political stuff went. And again, like, these chains are they're political kind of in nature, right? Because I mean, you're doing voting as governance. It's part of it. And it's part of it that I love, even though it's super messy, right? And we're sort of iterating and figuring out how to do that, and whose voices are going to count for the most and whatever. But I think that would be a really, really educational conversation, frankly, for everybody. But I think we do have a long list.
I got my start on screen, actually. One of the first appearances I ever made on screen, if people don't know this, it was actually with Jacques, and we did an overview of all of the socials that were running on EOS at the time, and we delved in the Hive, and it was like, I think that was maybe my first, other than like a little blurb that I did with M Blue here and there, that was my first actual on-screen show. And like, I had a lot of fun. We were on opposite sides of the coin a lot, but it was a really
I mean, like, this sort of disagreement, like this.
Yeah. So
I'd just like to point out, like, so Corey said, I was the first person on camera with Corey, and Jimmy said I was first on camera with you. I just want to point out, like, I don't want to brag, but I do want to brag a little bit. Like honestly, like, me and discussion, we had put in so much work into, like, just identifying people, like, within the community, and try to raise them up. Like, even the moderators at r/Reddit, two of them, like, is the one that does the most work. Like, I brought them on board because I see talent, and I want to bring them up. I want to make this community better. But there are times where I'm like, where I have my opinion about where EOS is going, and it's just so disappointed I'm just so let down by, like, the politics of it. And
you need more than one online personality. If you have more than one online personality, because some people do, then you can kind of say whatever you want. It never comes back to you. So, that's enough. Yeah. You cut that out later, maybe.
I do have to say, I've got a dev meeting for the Uplift, and thank you, Bitcoin Blues brother, for reminding me. We got 16 days, 2 hours before we're doing this alpha sale, and we are not ready right now. So I have a hard out at 10. So just whatever we need to get to, we need to do that. And Jacques, like, honestly, we want to have you back way more. I think that bragging is perfectly accurate. And to whatever extent that we can, we want to give back and promote whatever the hell you're doing to whatever extent we can.
Yeah, and you said you're having some updates. Like, do you want to give us some news? And I hope when the updates, like Corey said, come back anytime. But like, I hope when the updates are good, like, at some point we can get you on the show to actually give us a demo of what you've changed, and even the wallet creation process and things like that. Is there anything that you want to say, or any channel that people should tune into for those updates even?
Yeah, I mean, like, for discussions, we kind of have shied away from experimenting with new ideas for a little while, and we're looking to shake that up. How sometimes you're a year or 2 years into a project, you kind of get complacent with the day-to-day operations. But we think with this integration with Telos, we looked at the roadmap. We're very inspired by it, and it's one of the things that really give us confidence on committing a lot more of our energy into Telos, because they do have a roadmap, and it's very clear where they're going, and we're ready to align ourselves and develop alongside with them. When they bring on the EDM EVM, we're looking at taking advantage of the pool of smart contracts that are available on EDM and bringing a lot of those functionalities onto discussions. And again, our reputation system is going to make developing and the user experience on Telos that much better. Like, you will like the experience you get from discussions now, you could reasonably assume that that will be the experience you would get with the other Telos dApps with our reputation system. So it would just be seamless, you know, like it would be like traditional web dApp.
Yeah. So if you haven't used Discussions app, definitely check it out, because I think one of the things that you guys did really well, that like hasn't always been done so well with other social apps, is that you pretty much have spent a lot of time integrating various posts. So the previews that show up on Discussions app are great, whether it's like, you know, a full length blog piece that you might copy and paste in from like a Google Docs or something like that, or whether it's just a Twitter link, it shows up. And directly, you know, can be directly linked to your Twitter account as well, right? And so I think that's one of the really nice aspects about it. Like you can just go in there and post a tweet or post something from Reddit or post something from Medium. And the previews all work, right? Like, and you know, with the exception of, I hate to say it, but with the exception of Facebook and I mean, even
we do actually support Facebook. We support Facebook posts. We support.
No. I mean, with the exception of Facebook and like with the exception of Facebook, I can't think of anyone else who actually does previews better than you. That's what I was going to say. So sorry. Yeah, like so like you that's kind of one of the things I know that you were really excited about and you excelled in. So that was really cool. But we did want to ask one question.
I just got to touch like working with Chirp and the fact that you have to do that. You know, in on the dev meetings there, you have to make those things work basically one at a time. So the amount of work that they put into making all that stuff, it's just like this. I need to brag on Jacques a little bit because it's a lot, and they've done it really well.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole idea again of Discussion is to be like a social media aggregation platform. You know, again, like you know what Reddit did for links, we're doing for social media, and we're really excited to Appic is coming actually on Telos network. We're really excited to incorporate what they're bringing onto the Telos network. So soon, you know, you're going to see Appic's post alongside of an Instagram post, and it just gives that user like the transition doesn't have to be so stark. You don't have to like abandon Facebook or abandon Instagram and just use Discussions. We would love you to do that, but you don't have to. Like you can still enjoy content from those platforms, you know, while being on Discussion, while enjoying the benefits of decentralization. So
yeah, so the one question I did want to ask, because you kind of hinted at it before, with the EVM stuff, that's super cool, by the way. But so I created a Discussions account, like, you know, almost when you guys first launched. And so I don't go into the process of, you know, looking at what it takes to create it or looking at my wallet really, or any of the inside kind of stuff. But you said that did you say that you can now log in with MetaMask? Did you say that?
Yeah. You can log in with MetaMask. Again, like we're just getting ready for, you know, like again, Telos is gonna make an aggressive push to bring on Ethereum people, and we're ready to like, you know, bring them into the fold. Again, have the tools that they're comfortable with and allow them to use it. Because again, Ethereum smart contracts will be running on Telos. Make no mistakes. But how to interact with it is still like a big question. Telos still have their web wallet that that people could use to interact with it. But again, like the idea of Discussions is able to bring like a more seamless experience and in the front end that makes sense. So you won't have to be jumping from website to website to interact with a dApp. You just, in the future, maybe there's a post that is just a front end portal to a gambling dApp, just for like a slot machine. You just click on it, Discussion will take care of the rest, and then you're on your way. And you just interact it with a dApp. And you wouldn't even realize it's a dApp. Just like, again, it really is like one of the most exciting things about it, because you're bringing all these features that are just out there that have been created, they're underutilized. And they're underutilized because the transaction fee is high. They're underutilized because the barrier to entry is high. And Discussion, we're just gonna abstract all that away, and it's gonna be fantastic.
And for me, that's actually one of the most annoying things. And we've actually been thinking about similar things in the Uplift as well, I think. But like one of the most annoying things for me is like when I'm creating posts, like sometimes on other platforms, I've actually got to like do 3 clicks because I've got to click another box, and then I've got to click like, you know, that I don't want this post to take people to the other page. And like even normally now, right, when you click on a box to go somewhere, then it takes you to another page. It can at times be really freaking annoying, right? Like we did a giveaway, you know, a couple of days ago for EOS Detroit cards, and I put stuff on the screen, and Corey was laughing at me. He's like, "Dude, man, how many freaking browser windows do you have open?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is exactly
a lot."
This is exactly why, right? Like every time you click on something, it opens a new freaking browser window, right? And this is great for SEO type of stuff, but like, I think kind of what you're describing here, I would like to almost say that this, in a way, is like almost a social. It's not an EVM, but let's just pretend that it is a social EVM, right? Like in a way, like to have something locked into a social platform where you can interact with a DApp without ever leaving the site. I mean, that essentially is the be all and end all of what a social platform could essentially be, and in my opinion, right? And it kind of seems like that's what you guys are working towards. So
yeah, I mean, like again, the best example I could give is like you play Farmville within Facebook. You never leave the Facebook platform just to play this game called Farmville. It's gonna be bad user experience, and it you know, you don't build up that network effect. Farmville got popular not because it was a fantastic game. You know, it got popular because there were tons of other games other people could play, and it just so happens to be among those games that are better. You know, this rich ecosystem is what would drive the success of the platform. And again, this is why I go back to, you know, how EOS has largely failed to connect its projects, and is one of the biggest pain point. Again, Ethereum, they have done a fantastic job of connecting their smart contracts. They are interoperable. You know, they interact automatically. You don't have to go from one website to another website. All the base elements are there. The contract ABIs are there. You just have to put it together in new, novel ways for people to make use of it. And that's, again, you know, EOS have largely failed to do that. And, you know, and we hope, you know, discussion can help prevent this problem from, you know, happening on Telos, because Telos is still pretty young. So they have the opportunity not to repeat the same mistake. They have the opportunity to kind of engage with the community, engage with each of the dApp developers, and have them work with each other instead of working into each of their silos. But again, like if the blockchain, you know, if the ecosystem is rich, you bring on more and more users, and you kickstart that network effect. And again, in order to do that, you need to have people cooperating. You need to have people sharing code base. You need to be open sourcing stuff. And,
I can somewhat agree with you, but I just need to shout out Wombat here, because like you guys have done an awesome job as well. But like Wombat, in my opinion, they're next level, because the amount of like you said, they're not a social platform, but the amount of dApps that they've integrated into their wallet, the ease with what you can with what you can Womboard.
They should probably steal that.
The ease with what you can onboard, right? I think that's quite good. So yeah, I think
Wombat's great. Wombat's great. Wombat, you know. Wombat is one of the wallets that I use a lot as well, and it's one of the, you know, we support signing with Wombat. They're a fantastic starting point for a lot of people. So no gripes to them. The other one is Anchor if you're a bit more technical. But again, like it really,
I feel really bad because you're totally right. Yeah, Anchor's done an amazing job as well. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Anchor is geared a bit more towards more sophisticated users, and like, to be honest, even their user experience is not that great.
It's been a long time to switch over, to be honest.
To Anchor?
Yeah. It's a learning curve for sure.
I mean, they're again, but it's a much more advanced wallet because you could interact with smart contracts directly from the wallet, whereas, you know, Wombat, again, abstracts that away from you. And that's kind of the direction discussion's taking. Like, it's great, you know, if you are a power user and you want to have your EOS account and you want to be interacting with the ABIs on the smart contract, sure, go ahead. Like, we're happy to assist you. But for our platform is geared for people who are just being exposed to cryptocurrency for the very first time, who wants to learn about it and interact and communicate and talk about it. That's really where discussion fits in the marketplace.
Okay, so I actually have another question now. So I think you guys support Scatter, you support Anchor, you support Wombat,
and MetaMask.
Yeah. So and then you support MetaMask. Any others?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
but obviously,
so then my question is, like, also within Discussions app, you've supported a number of different tokens. I know you've supported, like, I think it's Blockbase is one, Boyd is one, I think Vigor.
We have about 12, 13 token partners. Yeah.
And so, like, users in Discussions app, they can give tips to different users if they want, or the wallet supports those tokens to be able to be sent. I think the tipping function is quite cool. But I guess my question then is, so with the users who log in with MetaMask, are there Ethereum tokens that are supported then now as well?
Soon. Yeah. No. Like I'm not trying to be coy, but again, the Telos Ethereum is a two-way bridge, and we fully expect to be able to support ETM tokens in the future, and we have we have a lot more things planned. Again, Discussions wasn't never meant to be like a single chain or even just EOSIO chain project. We designed Discussions to be a cross-chain social protocol, so it's going to support, at its final goal, it's going to support most of the major blockchains out there. So ETM support is definitely coming. It's just a question of how fast can we move? What should we prioritize? Which blockchains should we prioritize? We're still looking at, EOS, Telos, Wax, and maybe File in the future, as well as Bose. We want to make sure that we build up that community, like core community that can expand outwards. So that's what we're looking at for now. Yeah.
Okay, so I think maybe I got this now. So I'm an Ethereum user. I can right now, to this day, right now, I can log in with a MetaMask account. I fucking hate EOS, by the way. It fucking sucks because I, love Ethereum. But then Jacques seems kind of cool because I saw him on, EOSIO Weekly Update, which I didn't know it was EOSIO Weekly Update because they were talking about Ethereum the whole time because EOS sucks. So, right? Obviously, I'm taking the piss. But I get in there with my MetaMask account. And somebody tips me, Vigor, because write a DeFi post, or somebody tips me Boyd because I'm talking about computing, or Blockbase because I'm talking about scaling or whatever. Now those coins that are tipped are held in my Discussions app wallet, and then from there I can actually send them to an exchange and sell them if I want. I can log in with my Discussions app wallet and I can send them to new decks, and I could sell them for USDT or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, we already actually have a swapping function within Discussions. Because we understand that's one of the things that people want to do. So EOS token swapping is already there. You can swap to any token we support to EOS. Telos token swaps are coming. And again, once that Ethereum and Telos bridge is established, we'll be taking advantage of that to offer Ethereum token swapping right on the platform.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. That's fucking genius, actually, Jack. That's smart. That's really fucking genius. I approve.
Yeah. Thank you. Again, like I think what a lot of people don't kind of miss is that smart contracts are, you could go to a website to use them, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're on Uniswap or on Discussions. It's just a front end to a smart contract. So Discussion is going to be, I'm not sure if you heard of the Unstoppable domain browser or Brave. I mean, I'm sure you heard of Brave, right? Like Discussion is sort of like that. We're trying to be like a browser, like a social browser, with a lot of social functions integrated. But it's just going to be interfaced to this new world of smart contracts. And it's gonna be smart contract from all different blockchains, and you won't have the hiccups that you have now trying to use these smart contracts because their user experience is ridiculous. You have to know so much about cryptocurrency. Like even me, as someone who's pretty well versed in the cryptocurrency space, like trying to do yield farming wasn't easy. Like that was a hassle learning about it. But it won't be like that on discussions. Like discussions is just be like Facebook, and it's Facebook with all these fun apps like Farmville or whatever. And you never have to leave the platform. You don't have to know gas fees. You don't have to know CPU, RAM, or whatever. You just use it. You're just a user on this social platform.
And the gaming aspect side of that, I mean, the uplift might be that for gamers. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, there's room for everybody.
Right. I think actually I have a harder time within the uplift, figuring out how to learn how to play, Minecraft. And Minecraft people are going to have figuring out crypto. I'm actually at the disadvantage on this one. But yeah, I think that's you bring up a really good point about usability over. Right now it's cool to be in crypto, but someday the people who think it's cool to be in crypto, they're going to be maxis or some weird, because they're going to be like, oh, we're in the real crypto, and it's like, no, you're not. You're in the same crypto.
No, we experienced that. The funniest thing ever was I still remember Bitcoin people hating on Ethereum's, just absolutely menacing the Ethereum community, and it never makes sense to me. I understood that they saw it as a competition, but really it was this new industry that's coming. And the silliest thing is when people started wrapping Bitcoin, putting them on Ethereum, and the Bitcoin people were just they were so angry. They're you're ruining Bitcoin, you're printing Bitcoin on Ethereum. I was they are using it exactly as it's intended, which is as a store of value and as a currency. What did you expect? Honestly, it's ridiculous.
You remember, and I remember, Jacques, when we were first talking, we were talking about the fact that Bitcoin isn't decentralized, right? It's not. Anyone that thinks it is doesn't know how big the mining conglomerates are. And I was talking to the CEO of the parent company for Uplift Art and The Uplift and Blue, and we're basically watching what Block One is doing, watching what Grayscale is doing, all of the Bitcoin. Hear me right now. The vast majority of all Bitcoin on Earth is going to be owned by a very few corporations, and it's going to be run and wrapped on stuff like EOS and Telos and not even Ethereum. Ethereum, seriously, if you want to throw $1 million around, the $70 transaction fee is no big deal. Fine, right? But for normal plebs like me, there's doing that is way too painful, right? So it really is going to be entirely centralized in a very few companies, and it's going to be on more decentralized networks that have dozens, if not hundreds, of block producers like EOS or Telos or Wax. So you're welcome, Bitcoin maximalist. Eat that shit.
And I just want to point out something about Ethereum as well, and the high gas fee on Ethereum really proves that something like EOSIO is much needed, and multi-chain is the future. Because if you remember, before this, the DeFi congestion, the congestion caused by DeFi, there was CryptoKitties, right? Mm-hmm. And CryptoKitty was booming on Ethereum, and that could have been a thing. It broke it, but the NFTs didn't go away. They just went to a different chain, and that chain is Wax now. So the same thing with DeFi. I'm wondering if history. I'm pretty certain it will. I'm not sure what's next after DeFi, but I'm pretty certain that you already see it now. DeFi projects or yield farming is moving to Binance, right? Now you just have one chain specialized for one kind of project. And that's fine, but if you have a model like EOSIO, and that's one of the reasons why we first committed to building on EOS, that you could have all these projects running on EOS at the same time, because EOS has that option for you to reserve a bandwidth in the system. So you can have your CryptoKitties, you can have your NFTs, and then you could have your DeFi projects running at the same time. And obviously you could run your own chain as well. You could do Wax, and then you connect it to EOS. But that
kind of failed with the whole IDOS thing, and I think that they weren't expecting it to fail either. But that's why I'm a big proponent of multiple chains. So a lot of these I like this transition, right? Because it was kind of the same, right? From Bitcoin to Ethereum. Now the Ethereum people hate on the EOS people. Now the EOS people hate on, like, you know, the other side chain people because they're not producing their value. You're 1% of the world. I mean, are you in it for value? If you're in it for value, that's cool. But then just, you know, own your own mistakes, right? That's all I'm gonna say, right? Like, if you're in it for the tech, if you're in it, like, you know, for the betterment of the world. But I think, like, it's really going to be interesting to see. And like, I don't know, in answer to your question, Profi might be. I think Block One probably has something like, not to get into it again, but I do think, like, if anyone can pull it off, right? Like, hate them as much as you want, anyone out there in the audience, but like, that, what did we say? 240,000 Bitcoin. They're the biggest Bitcoin holders in like on the freaking planet. I mean, like, that's got to count for something, right? So, like, I mean, like string it together any way that you want. But I think that you are right. I think the end game for Ethereum is now, right? Like, Ethereum is where Bitcoin was in 2017. Right. And I think you're going to see a lot of these things that are going to run up. Now, like, in terms of decentralization, it's probably not EOS that's the most decentralized, or any EOSIO chain that's the most decentralized right now. It's probably Cardano, if what I'm hearing is correct, which is cool because, you know, I don't have anything major against Cardano. I kind of like them right now because they declared war on Ethereum and it took some of the heat out of off of us, right? But yeah, like, I mean, like, there's going to be a few like EOSIO, Cardano. I think Neo is probably still in the game. You know, I think they're doing some pretty crazy shit. And so, like, look at the what is it? The Chinese, the Chinese, is it 6 different cryptocurrencies that are basically running that new kind of national digital currency, right? So I think if you look at all of those, they're still kind of all going to be in the game, right? I think it's Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Jimmy, before we go further, like, what do you think DeFi? And I hate, like, speculation, and we have to do it just because Block One doesn't tell us shit.
And it's fun.
But no, it's not fun. It's just, I'm so tired of reading tea leaves.
Yeah,
what do you think DeFi is? And
what do I think DeFi is?
How would it be any different from, like, any centralized exchange?
I think DeFi enables people who don't have money the same access to markets as people who do. And I think
you meant Profi, right? Because you said DeFi.
No. So DeFi. Sorry, you asked me DeFi.
Profi.
Profi. What do I think that Profi is? So I think that if you, so I think that if you're a big money, if you're a big money company, right? You're not going to trust your, and if you do, you're freaking crazy. You're not going to trust your money to, like, you know, some of these, like, look at how many hacks there are, how many, like, crazy messed up, you know, what do you call them when people, like, basically steal your money from the exchange, that happen in Ethereum, right? And I mean, the same thing could happen in EOS, right? These are not always decentralized protocols, right? Like I was on Vigor as a custodian for a while. You know, I did a lot of stuff there, and I trust them because I know the people, right? You know, DeFi Box is anonymous. They seem like they're okay, but I don't know them. You know, I never worked with them. I'm sure they're fine. I'm not saying that they're not fine, but, like, they could exit scam anytime. Any exchange could exit scam anytime, right? So any of these like DeFi projects, like, yes, they are decentralized finance, but they're still owned and operated by, a lot of times, closed, unopen, you know, smart contracts that aren't open to the public, right? They're, like, even on Ethereum, right? And so you have these problems whereby, you know, people could just disappear with your funds. You need to, you know, trust the entity that you're depositing your funds into, right? And so, like, you look at someone like Binance, or you look at someone like Coinbase, right, as exchanges. I mean, they're pretty freaking trusted entities. You might hate centralization, but they're still, you know, I mean, Coinbase is coming out with their own freaking stock, for Christ's sakes, right? Like, they're as close to mainstream as what you can get, right? So I think that the world really needs, the world beyond crypto really needs a place to be able to trust and park their funds. And this is my speculation for what ProFi could be, right? Now, whether people actually trust Block One is a whole other story, right? Like whether like these big companies actually do it is a whole other story. But that's kind of what I kind of feel that it is, right? You're giving this to a trusted entity that is kind of accountable. And like, SushiSwap might be great, Uniswap might be great, right? But what happens when your funds are hacked or when there's an exit scam, right? Like not everyone's going to be like the Wi-Fi people on Ethereum and return your funds. That's the answer to my question. Sorry.
So thank you, long-winded McGee. We do have sorry, I totally have to buzz balls. We got 2 or 3 minutes. So I want to give that to Jacques. Tell us what we should be looking out for. Obviously go to discussions.app, that kind of thing. If there's any other channels you want us to be paying attention to.
I blame him. He asked me the question.
He asked good questions. That's what it is.
Keep an eye on Telos, and we're gonna be doing a lot of things on Telos. We're really, really excited about what's coming on Telos. Like we really are. And discussions again, we'll be following the Telos development roadmap very closely, and we'll be taking every advantage that we could to match and improve. And really, like, I have a feeling that discussion will be the showcase that for Telos. That's our trajectory right now. Because again, a lot of things are coming down the pipeline. They've been very clear communication about what their intentions are. Again, this is an open secret. There is funding, and discussions have been funded through their worker proposal system.
Good.
So if you are as a project or as someone who has an idea, if you're interested in contributing to TLOS along with us, definitely hit us up. We could offer you guidance and help and other things to help you get the proposal in, so you get funded, for projects. We're not lacking funds at the moment in TLOS. We're lacking projects and ideas and people who could execute on them. So
I've got Telos listed in the community cluster as a question mark because we haven't been able to chat with Doug. But I would love to get a team from Telos in there to make sure that they're represented. And maybe as a worker proposal, we just apply to get some funding and have Telos as rewards as well as Wax. As like as far as like the funding thing, we're going to be doing our alpha NFT sale pretty soon. I think it'd just be amazing to get a worker proposal and just have it in as rewards for people. Freak people out.
Proposal systems is open. Obviously, the community is the ultimate decider of your fate. But they range from marketing to development to core TLOS development. Like a lot of the foundation is paid by the worker proposal system. I think I could be wrong, but the core development team is definitely funded by the worker proposal system. So it's a system that works. So we're really excited to continue making use of the system. Like not only do we want discussions to be getting funding from it, we want to show people that this is a viable way to grow an ecosystem. And we want discussions to be the example of that. We got funding from Telos, we have integrated Telos, and we plan to integrate more tightly with Telos through the system. And we want other projects to come and compete with us for the funding because we think that'd be great for the ecosystem.
Love it. Mic drop. Jimmy, do the thing.